Right, team. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Scratched Record podcast. We are live back from the bedrooms. Lockdown session number 2.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's not really the right vibe, is it?
Don't call it live from the bedrooms. We're not doing that.
Live from the bedroom sessions.
No.
Yeah, from the bedroom sessions. I think that's the way to go. No,
that's a whole different show, mate. Yeah, that's paid content.
That's if you join our OnlyFans, then you might get some more live from the bedroom content. That's what we're going to be doing on our Patreon. Is violent.
Yeah, I tell you what.
No, I'm not going to go into
violent. Why was violent the word? What the fuck?
I was going to say violent anal, but I didn't feel like that was appropriate.
No, you were right. Should have gone with your gut.
No, I've said it. So, whoopsie.
No. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Scratch Record podcast.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we are here again in lockdown, under lock and key.
Yeah.
Cuffed inside. Joe is actually self-isolating now, aren't you, boy?
Yeah, proper inside now. This is like, I'm not actually technically allowed to go for a walk unless it's around my garden, so laugh.
Pogs.
Yeah. Good fun, but here we are. We're back again.
We are.
Episode 24.
24. I really wish these weren't inside. I'm getting to the point where I just want to be able to do what we can do, but it is what it is. We've got to do it for a little bit. Hopefully by March time next year, when the podcast has been going for a year, we can start doing actually what we wanted to do with it.
Yeah, it's mad that it would have taken that long to get to that point where we can actually do what we wanted to do this year, but it is what it is. And
it's
I'd be interested if you did listen to our Phantom Art one and how that came across, because I think just with two of us now, it might sound a little bit better in terms of speaking over each other, because before it was hard, but I think it sounded all right and people said it sounded all right. So let us know if it did and if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I heard some good positive things about it. I was quite impressed with I get just how it came across, really. I was, they were sound lads, and I really wish they were like here in the studio. I just think for me, like, I don't know, it felt like it could have been so much better to some extent, because like I think we could have like had less of that awkward like talking over the top of each other sort of thing, which I know there wasn't loads of once we put it through the edit and that. And clipped out some of the shittier bits, but with the disconnection drops and that section in the middle, where that section, for the podcast was literally, what was it, fucking 30 seconds. But IRL was
it was
like an hour. There was like an hour. We like started again and then had to then cut it all because then Joe dropped out and like because Peter dropped out to start with, and it was awkward. But now it was
stress.
It sounded all right in the end once we edited it all out and stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's still, as we've always said, while we're avoiding virtual stuff, and we've been forced into it. But like, we know what we can do in person, and as you say, we knew that there was such sound lads we could have just got a little bit more out of it in person. So here we are, the two of us, until we can get someone back in, probably. So. Literally,
yeah, the two of us until we find people with bands with the equipment that fancy jumping on call with us. Really.
Yeah, for sure. But
it is what it is. It's only for a bit. It's only for a bit, and then we move. We do. I think they're the terms that are getting me through this period.
And I've said we move like 1,000 times.
And it is what it is. Literally should be tattooed on me by the end of the year, I feel. It's literally something I use all the time, man. All the time. Did you see the Liam Gallagher thing? Because I saw we tweeted about. Oh, you must have seen it because you do the Twitter. So I saw a quote tweeted it, and I was like, "What a cock,
mate!
That's so wild."
So for anyone who didn't see this. And I do feel like we tread up a lot of the same ground a little bit over the virtual stuff, but this one was too big to not mention. Like, there's been a few that I thought we need to not mention it, but this one was so wild. So we criticised the Snuts because they did a live virtual gig and it cost £7 to watch, right?
Yeah.
And that was the line we drew that we thought, that's a little bit of a piss take. That is maybe not being as creative as you could be. We then praised the Lathams because they did one and it was completely free.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. And I've literally got the poster behind me. Loved it. Now, Liam Gallagher has set a whole new bar for virtual gigs.
The whole new bar of being a fucking slimy cunt.
So what he's done is he's recorded a set on a boat down by the river. So it's like the lyrics from his river song. He's recorded that and he's now charging £17 to watch the playback of the video.
Not even live.
It's not even live. It's literally just the video that he recorded previously.
It's unbelievable. I actually find it crazy that he his PR team went, oh yeah, good idea. Because isn't he doing multiple sets as well, like multiple sessions?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't quite.
I think he's doing like a matinee evening and like almost like watching a film. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like multiple sessions, and I saw it on the poster, and I was like, bro, really? Mate. Really? I just think for that money as well, is it what you want to be doing with your brand? I don't know.
I know you pay a certain amount to see someone like Liam Gallagher, and I get that, but it's literally like, say the brand new like James Bond film, if it ever comes out, to go see that, which probably costs however many millions of pounds to produce over several years and whatever. That's like, what, 12 quid to go watch it in the cinema. And I judge, you've gone and played a set on a boat. You cannot charge £17 for that.
You can't. You can't charge £17.
And I know that it's probably not even his decision. That's the mad thing. You can criticise him, and he obviously has to agree to it. But as you say, it's probably PR team.
If someone said to you, you're realistically going to earn, I bet he'll earn a few mil off of this. In concept, if someone said you can record this gig, it's going to cost us, you need to put an overhead of fucking 150,000, I bet, towards that, maybe give or take, because it would have been quite expensive on the Thames to have the licensing. I bet it's quite a good quality filmed. I bet it's high end stuff. But at the end of the day, 20 quid a session to watch it seems pretty. Absurd,
it's not good. It's not good, and
it's not great. It's not great. But then again, I think his tickets are outrageously expensive anyway. I think 40-50 quid to go see Liam Gallagher live, I think, is pretty wild anyway. So I didn't expect much less.
You see, I don't know. Again, that depends. When I saw him at the Old Trafford Cricket Ground, and it was the biggest. His biggest ever solo gig, and he had Richard Ashcroft supporting, which was unreal, and all that. I'm yeah, it's worth it. I think going to see him at an O2 Ritz on his own for that sort of money is pretty mad. But at the end of the day, it is always if people, it's going to sell out, so it doesn't really matter. But with this, I just think, it's just a little bit lazy. And then he announced that he's got a single coming out in December. And so I do think, as you said, if you're looking at it, and if I was his PR team, I'd be like, right, you released your album, it did really well. You've been very quiet since, other than the odd Twitter rant. You've got a new single coming in December, so let's just get some people involved, get them, get some money, and then it also just gets people talking about Liam Gallagher again. So when he goes, I've also got a new single, more people give a shit.
Literally,
which is
and I think
smart, but...
that's what it is, and I think that's the part and parcel of what you get when you're that level of celebrityism, that level of celebrityism. Is that a term?
Nope.
It's thereabouts, isn't it? But you know what I mean. When you're that level of fame, you can't expect much less, to be honest.
No, I know, and it is a shame. It is a bit of a shame. It just comes across as. He's always been a very man of the people, and he's very working class and all that. And I just think, I don't know. You just sort of, he'd be one I'd be expecting to tweet if someone else did it, to be £17 for a video. What a fucking joke. Do you know what I mean? I'd expect him to say that. So when he's the one doing it, I just feel a little bit disappointed, a little bit oh, come on, this isn't you. You're normally a little bit better than this, but.
It's what it is. It is what it is. Bless him.
Sort of thing Noel would do. I'm surprised he hadn't been doing it.
Yeah.
Speaking of money grabbers, fucking hell. I thought he'd have been one of the first.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That would be probably my guess would have been him over Liam. But then again, I feel like Liam's more controlled by his PR team than Noel is.
Yeah, definitely.
But from outsider looking in, you don't know, do you?
Nah.
He could be running really. He could be really strapped for the cash.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to earn their buck, ain't they, at the minute?
But if the Laphams can put one on for free, then so can fucking Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, it's like the whole. Did you see the McDonald's one they did?
No.
The McDonald's did one to. It was for their app. They pushed their app with it. They used their app they used it for like a advertisement for their app, and you had to download their app to watch the gig.
Okay.
And I believe it was free. But it was like a festival.
Oh, that's cool.
I think Lewis Capaldi was on it. Stormzy. Let me get it up.
Oh fuck! That sounds really cool. I didn't see that.
Yeah, really, really sick. Yeah, I thought that was quite a good idea.
Yeah,
like a little festival-y sort of vibe. McDonald's festival. Yeah, I just was like,
nah. I think as we've said before, it's just about the way you go about it. Like if he just said, I don't know, some of it's going to charity. It's actually going to be a live gig. There's going to be, I don't know, you get entered into a raffle to win a vinyl, or you get early access to the new single, or anything.
Early access to the new single would have been a good idea. I mean?
Right, if you pay the £17 or whatever, then you get to listen to the new single a week early. That's an easy thing to do. That wouldn't even cost them anything. Like, beautiful. But there's just being like 17 quid, it's a pre-recorded gig and that's your lot. It just feels a bit fucking...
So the McDonald's one was, they've put something on their thing. It was like, I hope you enjoyed the enjoyed the UK's hottest music event of the year. Becky Hill, Jess Glynn, Kaiser Chiefs, Ollie Murs, Craig David, Lewis Capaldi, Stormzy were like the lineup.
Fuck.
Which is, pretty wild. And it was like just a virtual gig, and it was almost like aimed at like trying to get like younger audience to like download their app and all that shit, which I thought was a really good idea.
Smart.
But it's a very smart business move. But if they can do it, that sort of sponsorship, I'm sure Liam Gallagher probably was offered a little bit of a buck to perform in that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because he does every other fucking festival, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I know. That's the thing. Like, there's better ways to do it. There is, but
absolutely.
There we go. But I thought. Yeah. Go on.
Speaking of virtual things.
There's a planned segue for you
all. We've got a radio show now. Yeah, the scratch record. Anyway, it's okay. It was okay. I tried. Little segue. But we actually now have a radio show on Indie Rocks UK, based in Manchester, which is a fairly decent stadium. Fairly decent stadium.
Fucking hell, we haven't played stadiums yet.
Yeah, it's a good station based for indie music orientated online station in Manchester, which we're luckily become a part of. Which I'm loving being involved with them, and they seem like a really good group. So and they're already talking about next year being able to put on gigs that they're running as almost like an event for like presenters and stuff. So we're like invited through to that and things like that, which I think would be really, really cool. So it's a radio station up north, but everything pre-recorded at home that we're doing. At the minute it's only me because lockdown. Can't do group sessions in a studio. So you've got the lovely voice of me on Indie Rocks UK Friday 8 till 9. So get involved. We're almost bringing the playlist to life a little bit with it, I feel.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of what I like about it.
It gives us, you at the moment, but us in general, a bit of an opportunity to like. We've mentioned about it before on the podcast playing music, and I think on the podcast our focus is more the chats, the conversation, the interviews and stuff. But this it's almost like a podcast, but the focus is even more on the music, so you can actually play the songs. So rather than us being like, oh yeah, we've heard this new song, there's a good new release, or these are a good band, it's them being able to be like, and here it is, and here is the song, and then having bits of chat in between that are like mini podcast sections. And I think like you've already done the first one, and I thought it was really good, and I would say that, but like it did come across really well, and there's plenty going on the socials at the same time, so you can get involved with that. So 8 till 9 on a Friday, it'll be the place to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll be talking, and we'll be almost like live reacting to it on the socials with everyone else in that sense. So like, I tried to record it. I tried to record them in a almost as if we're in a live setup. So like we're expected, like almost being like, look, tell us what you're up to, who's listening, what you're doing. So at the same time, like I want to still be involved with that, even though it's a pre-recorded show, if you know what I mean. So, there won't be any phone-ins or anything, sadly, just yet. But once we can start getting to a point where we could maybe do some more live shows, I'd be really looking forward to doing that. But I think it's a really good, it's a great opportunity that we've been given from Indie Rocks, and they're quite they're fans of us, and we've been fans of the indie music scene in Manchester. So to be on Indie Rocks UK in Manchester almost felt like a no-brainer to sign on with them.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really sick opportunity. And if you do want to listen, the easiest way is to download the MyTuner app, I think it's called.
Yeah, on iPhone, isn't it?
On iPhone.
MyTuner, yeah.
MyTuner, and it's dead easy then. You just literally search Indie Rocks and it comes straight up and you can listen. And then I think on Android, you have to go on the website, do you?
No, Android, they actually have an Indie Rocks UK app.
Right.
They have an app on the Android where you can like just listen to it straight away, which is really, really
Beautiful.
easy and simple. So I don't know why they don't have one for iOS, but
yeah, clearly it'll be coming, I assume.
I assume so. Yeah, we're hello, throwing my book around.
Oh, your book? You doing some reading with podcast?
Yep. Just
what is that?
It's my little pen.
I've not seen that before.
You not seen my notebook? It's what I did all my. Yeah, surely you have.
Is it blue?
It's got all my notes for the radio showing.
Oh, check, you're actually doing notes. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I got my notes for today in as well, mate.
Bloody hell, fuck me.
Yeah, so, but yeah, we're I'm really enjoying it actually.
Yeah.
I love being on the radio. It's where, I feel really comfortable in front of mic and cameras, but I think that one was kind of like, I hadn't been on the radio for a while, and I started recording it again. And the first little bit, I was like, I almost got like camera shy, which is weird for me, really weird for me. So for the first little bit, I was like, this is,
Yeah.
But the first, like, I don't know what it was. It was like the first 2 tracks, I think. And then I started getting to the swing of it again. But it's good fun.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, we've been doing this, the two of us, for so long as well. It is very different than being on your own. Like, I was quite impressed how you carried it, because it is hard to fill time to, like, everyone knows, like, if you have to do like a presentation or anything like that, if you say you've got to speak for 3 minutes, it doesn't seem like a long time. If you actually try and do that on your own, it's really fucking hard.
It feels like hours, yeah.
And it's an hour, it feels mad. So to do that for an hour, obviously you've got the music playing, but like in between each one, have a little chat, but there's no one else there. It's really hard to do. Which is why like it'll be ideal and we can both do it. But yeah, at the moment, no. But no, I thought you did a really good job, mate, and it's worth everyone checking out. 8 till 9, listen in, get on the Twitter and Instagram, because we'll be interacting loads during and shouting out all the bands and that sort of stuff. So it's good fun.
Yeah, it's been really good fun. I've really enjoyed it actually. It's been very, very good. Very decent.
Very nice.
Very nice. I really enjoy it. And their sound to work with as well. Been really impressed with them actually. But yeah, we're on there now, so as well.
There you go.
Which is nice. An extra string to the bow. There's something going
Playlist,
on in our
podcast,
life.
radio.
Playlist, podcast, radio. Soon come maybe videos. Maybe.
Well, the next thing, Elliot, could be a TV show.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV shows.
Yeah.
I'm trying to segue into our next section here.
Yeah, go on. You segue in. I've just got to delete some things off my camera because my camera's full.
Oh, good.
So
right. Okay, I'll introduce the topic.
Yeah.
So, speaking of TV shows, a good TV show is Big Brother. And recently, we're both really into YouTube. And Foot Asylum have put on like a YouTuber's Big Brother, where they got like 10 big YouTubers, put them in a house together. They weren't allowed any internet, phone, communication in the outside world. And then just filmed it. And they did it really well. I did watch a few and I was quite impressed with it. But it got me thinking, and it's always the same conversation of I'm supposed to get me out of here every year as well, and about what celebrities people want to see. And it got me thinking that if we had like a Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity style show, but for indie music, what are like the 10 acts or people that we would want in it? And to do it like dead or alive, we both pick a few who you'd want in. And I think you got to think about the balance of people, because you sort of want people from all different genres, different decades, different like ways of thinking, where they're all going to go
doing Dead or
together.
Alive, aren't we?
Huh?
We're doing Dead or Alive, aren't we?
Dead or Alive. We're doing Dead or Alive because I think you need that, and just be able to get some of the older decades in, and then think what lineup would give us the best entertainment in terms of like interesting stories, good insights, but also maybe a couple of clashes and a couple of like arguments and stuff. Like you need a little bit of that as well.
The entertainment factor, I think, is the big thing. And to make it like, I've gone for my ones are more story orientated to some extent, to like where they've got really interesting lives. And I think when we say a lot of these, I think we're saying in their prime is where a lot of mine have come from anyway. A lot of mine have come from like when they were in their prime of artistry. So I think it'd be fucking. I'd love to see something like this with artists.
It'd be so sick.
It'd be so good. Could you imagine like if you just chucked 3 studios in there as well?
Yeah.
Just to see what was cooked up while they were there, because like I was literally talking to my family about it when we said about doing this earlier. I was talking to them today, and my mum was like, "Oh, one of the ones that should definitely." Well, initially it started off being like a dinner party thing, but then we were like, "Let's change it up, keep it with the times." And my mum said Prince, and I was like, "Yeah, Prince." But then actually, I was like, he was an introvert, massive introvert.
This is
but
the thing.
Also, if you chucked him in there, he'd probably cook up some of the best tunes that you'd have. Like they'd like cook up some wild thing, like wild tracks come out of it. So should we do it? Should we do it like one for one? So like you say one, explain it. I think that'd be a good way to do it.
I think so, because we've both thought about it, but we don't know what each other are gonna say. But I'm thinking we're probably gonna have a few the same. So I think if we go one for one, then you can always say if it's the same, and we'll just come up with 10 eventually.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on then. I'm going to go. So the first one is one that I just think you can't not have. He's the first that I put on my list for whatever we do. And it's Bowie.
Yeah. This is the one that I knew we'd have the same, so I didn't pick it.
So 1980.
Oh, I was going to say.
Not 80s. Not 80s. 1980 on the dot.
Right.
So the split between the 70s and the 80s, like that nice period, I think is where we'd have him. I think because he was too... I think if we took him in like a Ziggy Stardust era, he'd probably be too in character. I feel like he was... I think by 1980, he was like almost had... Himself was showing through a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one for me. I think he'd be really fucking wild.
Could you imagine actually being able to like pick that brain? Like if they're in there for like 3 weeks, they're always like, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to sit down and be like, can you just talk to me about like your journey and how you've come up with these characters and what it was like being Ziggy Stardust? And it would just be so interesting. And like interviews I've seen of him, he's got such interesting perspectives on everything in life.
He's very articulate as well.
Very articulate, very intelligent, like very, very good at just, he's clearly thought about things and got himself to a point where he could sit and explain to you in great detail what he thinks about, whether it's politics, music, history. Like he'd have opinions, and I think he'd be such a dead interesting person.
Yeah, I've got actually an interesting story about David Bowie that I don't actually think I've ever told. I don't think I've ever told you either. My mum and dad have actually had dinner a couple of tables away from Bowie.
What? I did not know that.
Well, yeah, so we were away. Well, they were away in France, but it was like towards a place that we used to go quite a lot when I was younger, like in the Vendée area of France, and I think it was in Saint-Gilles Croix de Vie, was where it was.
Good accent.
So bilingual over here.
So you put it on your CV anywhere.
Yeah, they literally had dinner at this restaurant, and Bowie walked in and sat like 2 tables away, because it's a popular town, but it's not like Paris. It's not like touristy. You know,
yeah.
No, God, no. So it's very like, there's like a tourist element to it, but back when they were out there and Bowie was there, it was almost just like a nice beach town sort of thing.
Yeah.
So obviously he'd got away from everything and was just in this restaurant, and my mum and dad were like, "Is that Bowie?" Like,
fuck.
In retrospect, yeah, I think in retrospect they wish they'd spoken to him. But yeah, how crazy is that?
Yeah, that is fucking mental.
So my mum went, "We've had dinner with Bowie," and I was like, "What? Did you?" I don't think that's quite how the story goes, but yeah, we've now got a title. But
well, so we're gonna have to have David Bowie and your mum and dad in the house. The besties, like.
Yeah, best mate. Mum and dad are best mates with David Bowie. No, so yeah, how interesting is that though? How crazy.
That is mad. That's so sick.
Yeah, so like literally 2 tables away at this restaurant on the beach, my mum and dad were having dinner. So was Bowie.
Fuck, that's so sick.
I don't know what year this was. It couldn't have been long before he died, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
It wouldn't have been like the 80s. It would have more been
like late thousands.
Early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s. I would have thought, give or take. Yeah. So I remember it happening. So they never got a photo. I was like, that's mate, one person. I don't think I'd ask for a photo, but I think I'd just want to sit down and just be like, "Look, mate," as soon as he left. Look, mate, massive fan. Look, mate, hey, you, hey, Bowie.
Yeah.
Hey, you. No, I'd be like, "You're right, mate. Massive fan of your work." I just have to let him know. I know it sounds weird and he probably hears it all the time, but I feel like it's one of them ones where I'd have to say something.
No. Mate, I'm a big believer on, if you see someone that you know, you should go up to them, because I think as long as you do it in a polite way and you don't just go up like, "Can I have a photo?" You just say like, "Hello, I'm a fan of your work," then people appreciate it. And I just think you can't not seize it. Like sometimes if I'm out and about with Meg, she hates it and she'd never say hello to someone, and I'm like, if they're there, let's go say hello. Like, worst comes to worst, they're like, "Oh, we're busy, mate," and I'm like, "Cool." Like, do you know what I mean?
My that's one of my things. I'm quite bad with going up and saying hello to people. Like I'm normally pretty so I almost put myself in their shoes, but at the same time, when you put it in that way, like, it'd be quite nice. I had a situation in Manchester, and I saw a YouTuber that at the time I was watching quite a lot, but I was on a night out and I was shit-faced, and I saw him in the toilets, and I was like, "Is that? Surely not. Surely not." And I was like, I was having a piss, and I like looked over and was like, "Nah, it must be. Maybe. I don't know." But I think I was doing that. It's that look where I was like, "Is it them?" And then it obviously was him. But then at that point, I feel like I'd looked like
for too
a
long.
creep.
Yeah,
I looked like a creep. So I was like, I don't want to go up and be like, "Look, I really love your videos." But that's all I should have done. I should have just went, I really love your videos. Can I buy you a drink?"
Yeah.
And just be like, because, you know, you've brought me a lot of pleasure. Sounds weird.
Oh my God, don't say that. Don't say that. For fuck's sake, the bedroom sessions are getting started now.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, I should do that more. I think I need to get into doing that.
Because if you go up and, as you say, you just say, "Sorry to bother you, just wanted to say I watch your videos and I really enjoy them. Like, if you do want a pint, I'll buy you one, or if you want to chat, because then you'll know. Like, if they turn around and be like, "Oh, that's really sick," and start talking, then it's happy days. If they turn around and say, "Yeah, thanks," and like are weird, then you just like, that's it, isn't it? Like, no one's ever gonna like be upset by it, and I think you're only ever gonna regret it if you don't speak to someone, because you ain't gonna get another chance.
And that was for me with when I saw that YouTuber. But I think that was also the same with my mum and dad and Bowie. I think they now wish, like, because I don't think he died. I think he died not too long after, and they were like, "Fuck, that was our only opportunity to say something to him."
That's crazy.
So I guess when he's having dinner and stuff, it's a bit slightly different. Isn't it?
That's the thing. It is difficult because then you don't want to like disturb anyone. But
Absolutely. Right, we've gone off topic.
Mate, I was just going to say the same thing, because if we're going to try and do 10, this is going to take hours. Right, let's rattle through.
Right,
that's a good one, though.
Go.
David Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie number. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna write it down.
Go on.
So we can do a recap.
My first one, and the first one that jumped into my head straight away, is Morrissey from the Smiths.
Right. Okay. So funny this. I written down Morrissey, and then, because I knew you'd say it, because I knew I wanted to reply to it, and I've bracketed boring.
Why?
No, I feel like he's. I do think he'd be interesting, but I think, well, interesting is probably a strong word. I think he'd be very quiet.
Oh, you see, I don't think he would.
Would you not?
I think he'd be quiet. He'd be quiet in the sense of, I don't think he's a loud, like, boisterous person, but he's one of the most opinionated people I've ever seen, like, speak.
Yeah.
And when he performs live, especially like more recently, he literally goes on like 20-minute monologues about like basically just left-wing propaganda, and like literally just speaks. He's so opinionated, and I just feel like he'd have so much to say.
I think, are we talking about him? Are we going now or Smiths?
You see, I'd like to have him now.
Yeah,
because I actually think
I think now he'd be more interesting.
Yeah.
I think during the Smiths, from his music and his interviews, he was timid and
more introverted.
Came across as much more introverted and almost a bit like a dampening. Well, I mentioned it to my old man earlier, and I'd written down Morrissey because I knew you were going to say him, and he went, "Fucking hell, I think I'd shoot him by the end of it." Because my dad's got this fucking thing against the Smiths. Like,
a lot of people do.
Thinks it's so depressing.
It's quite so dreary, isn't it?
Yeah. That'd be my worry if we did it. If he came in and it was like Smiths era Morrissey, I do think he might be quite dreary and quite draining.
Yeah, but then I just think I'd love to, like, his lyrics are so smart and so like so out there. I just think it'd be a brain I'd love to sit and pick. But I think I do agree. God, yeah. I think now he has so much life experience, and he had quite a mature head at that age, but now he's been able to like back it up over the years with actual experience. And now he'd have so much to just say. And I think
for sure.
He's released 15 solo albums of a really, really high quality. But like, I think that just shows he's got a lot.
15?
Yeah. Fuck. Mate, he's literally released. But I've been listening to quite a lot of it recently. Because did you see, speaking of Morrissey and Bowie, did you see the song they released of them playing live together? So if you go on Morrissey's Spotify, they've just released a live performance from LA from like, I can't remember what year it was, where it was 89 or something like that. And it's Bowie and Morrissey performing a T-Rex song live together. Cosmic Dancers, I think it's called, in LA. And it's sick. It's like their voices are incredible together. Like, it's amazing.
But they match really well. Yeah. I think it's probably a bit harsh to call him dreary, but yeah, I think I can hear that one as quite a now as a political, and also his experiences I think were probably better now, because I think in the Smiths he was just very much like,
mate, he was 18. Like, they were all Lincoln 18 Smith, at the start of it. So
like, nothing else, hasn't done much else apart from the Smiths, whereas now I think he's
so much.
I think it's almost similar to Noel Gallagher. Interesting, now.
Yeah.
Maybe not went midway through Oasis. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think they'd know much different.
Yeah. No, I get you.
I think that's a good one. I think that is a good one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my next one is going to be Paul Weller.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I like
the Jam era. Towards the end of the Jam era, I think would be the Paul Weller that I'd have.
Yeah.
I think it'd be what I'd go for. Seems to be my. I think that would be the best one I can pick in that.
The most interesting.
I think. I think the most interesting. I think Paul Weller, the Jam era, would be really, really, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it'd be one I'd want. Defo.
I was thinking John Lennon.
Yeah, John Lennon. Right, let me write
because
this
I
down.
think, obviously he's dead, so it would be incredible just to, because I've never even, I don't really know what he was like. Like, it was such a long time ago.
I love John Lennon interviews. I can sit and listen and watch John Lennon just be for
like
them old interviews are fucking outrageous. Yeah,
what a genius! Like. And so to see what he would have to say in and amongst all those other people, like how they could bounce off each other, I'd just love to see it. So yeah, I think he's got to be in there.
That'd be a really good one.
I
think that is a sick one. Yeah, no, I think that is a good one. I've gone for Suggs from Madness.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting
lead singer of Madness, yeah. Like, and I think probably not now, but like, I do think maybe even like peak Madness era, because I think there'd be a while, just a good fun to have around. Fun to have around. I've also got a story about that, actually.
Oh, God, go on.
Right, okay, so just a quick one about Madness. I went on I've been learning to do like delivery driving. I know this is boring for everyone, but I was delivery driving. I was talking to a bloke, the bloke who was training me, he's not a delivery driver by trade. He's a marketing manager-y type person. And he used to do all the marketing for Marlboro cigarettes and things like that back in the days of like the Marlboro Girls and all that shit. Really, really interesting bloke. Minted. But his brother, I think, even more minted. Because they were like, yeah, so we're getting he was like, yeah, so my brother was like, oh, I'm having my wedding. And he's like, oh, so what music are you having? And his brother went, yeah, well, I can't quite tell you yet because it's not fully booked in, but it's a ska band. He had Madness play at his wedding.
Oh my God, that is fucking mental.
Madness play at his wedding. How fucking crazy.
Mate, what a vibe that would be. Like, fuck. That'd be so sick.
So yeah, they had Madness play at his wedding like a few years ago, which is fucking insane. So when they were like doing all their touring stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen Madness. Like, I was saying to him, because we were literally talking about Madness, and because he'd done like loads of the gigs, he'd done like some of Bowie's gigs and things like that, where he's running the Marlboro stands and you know, selling cigarettes basically, but as a almost like the one that like sits back and runs the marketing side of it. And like make sure the girls are all right, make sure the stalls are all running well. He was like the manager part of it. And he did a lot of Bowie's tours and like rock festivals and stuff like that, big festivals like that. And they were saying that I was like, oh, I've seen Madness. I think Madness is fucking brilliant. That's a band I'd love to see again. And he was like, oh yeah. He's like, where'd you see him? I was like, oh, County Ground in Northampton. I loved it when they did all that like comeback gigs almost. And he was like, yeah, I can one-up you on that one. And I was like, oh, can you? And he went, yeah. I saw him at my brother's wedding. And I was like,
okay, yeah, to be fair, that is fucking...
I was like, how? What the fuck? That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that is
I was like, that is insane, yeah.
So
wild.
Sick. Wow. Because then you've just got them at your wedding afterwards as well, like...
Yeah, just
wandering about.
Had a pint with Suggs and that lot, and I was like, that's fucking crazy.
That's sick.
Crazy
really
time,
sick.
yeah.
But yeah, I bet they're good fun.
Bet they're great fun. So that'd be my one for, I think. I think I'd have him in.
Cool.
In the house.
How many have we done? 4?
5, including Suggs.
Okay.
So we've got Bowie, Morrissey, John, Paul. John Lennon, Paul Weller, and Suggs.
Cool. I was thinking about Alex Turner.
Interesting.
I think he'd be dead interesting. So I was trying to think of some more modern bands and who he'd want. Because I think it'd be nice to have someone. And he'd be the one person that I'd love to meet, I think, out of any like recent like thousands to tens bands. I just think he's a fucking genius. And I bet he's a good laugh when you get to know him. He's quite funny. But
once he gets going, I think.
Yeah, he's got quite an interesting sense of humour. But I think he's hilarious. So yeah, he'd be one I'd chuck in.
Yeah, no, I like that. Alex Turner, because I think I do think he'd be good. We've got a lot of frontmen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for something a little bit different. And it's not necessarily indie music strictly, but it's a radio host. I think Jules Holland would be a really sick one to have in the mix. Because I think
imagine the stories.
Imagine the stories, but also I think he'd be really good just to have around these people to bring the stories out of these people too. If you're gonna like watch them, I think that'd be really cool.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one, actually.
I think that's one of mine. Hang on, I'm just gonna put this camera battery on charge. But you carry on.
Does it run out of battery now as well?
No, nearly. But I've got another battery, so I want to put it on charge just in case.
Okay. Can you still hear me? No. Yeah. No. My next one, I was thinking about someone who's going to maybe bring a little bit of chaos to the party.
Go on. What's your chaos?
Well, now you see, I was thinking about Liam Gallagher, and I think he's an obvious answer. I'm actually not sure I'd have him in. Because I
just think he'd fight everyone.
I think he would. I don't think he's very articulate, so I just don't think he'd mesh.
Really?
Like he wouldn't. He'd just be a little bit jarring.
Actually, no. I think he'd be interesting because I'd love to put him in front of John Lennon because I think that'd be the only person he'd get starstruck by.
Yeah, he would be big.
I think it'd be interesting to see him in a position where he doesn't feel like the most influential in the room.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's had that very often.
I don't think he's ever had that.
I think chucking him in this, the only person that he'd probably look at on this list and go, you're not a influence on me.
Yeah.
And that's Alex Turner. And maybe Jules Holland, but I think Jules Holland,
he'd have
even
respect.
so, they'd have mutual respect. I think Alex Turner would be the only one that he'd like almost turn a bit of a nose up potentially.
I mean, I was thinking about him or Pete Doherty or both in terms of like a chaotic presence. But again, I think Pete Doherty is amazing. I think he's so interesting in the journey he's been on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like him now, because not him mid to late 2000s. Nah,
no,
because
he'd
just be lying there, like, he'd be just not talking.
He'd get his belt out, like,
where's the fucking dealers out around here? Then and be like, no, Pete, no.
Who's got a number?
Yeah, but him now, like, some of his more recent interviews the last like 3-4 years, again, he articulates himself so fucking well, and he's so funny. And he'd have some fucking stories about touring with the Libertines, like.
Yeah.
But I think he holds his own in terms of musical ability as well. Like, he could sit and chat about John Lennon, about writing music and stuff, like, and hold his own. So I think he'd be a really interesting one. So either one of them or both, I would say would be good.
We'll put Pete in for now.
Yeah,
let's see
if
what
we need Liam,
we'll
see where we end up.
I'm gonna go with. So I've got one more on my list that I think could be really interesting, but I think it depends on the scenario.
Okay.
So I want to go with Prince, because I do think he was so influential. I think having him in the same room as Morrissey, Bowie, and like fucking John Lennon, I think could be fucking incredible. But I also know that he was such a fucking studio rat.
Yeah.
Like he was, he was very much
Quiet.
like a quiet, just fucking focused. Like, so I think it'd be interesting to say the least. If they had studios in there, I think if we put studios in the Big Brother house, in like the scratch record home.
Yeah, you'd probably have to, I think, because you'd have to give them all instruments and shit to play around with while they're in there.
Yeah, to do something.
So I think you need studio
I think they'd all go a
space.
bit insane.
Yeah,
so like
I think you'd have to.
having them in there would be quite cool. Having him in that mix with them people, I think would be really, really fucking interesting.
What a fucking super band they could make.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
We'll have to just chuck a couple of bass players in that like aren't on camera but could just help them out. A few drummers just to be like, right, we'll just be here if you need us.
Well, speaking of drummers, I think another good one would be Dave Grohl.
Yeah, that would
from
be a really good
Fighters.
one.
Yeah, I think he'd be like, because I think he's really entertaining.
Yeah,
a lot of his like interviews with him are fucking sick.
Yeah, he'd be
crazy,
really good.
Crazy.
And again, a little bit of a different vibe, bit of a different perspective on things would be quite cool.
Yeah, because he's more on the heavier side. A lot of what we put in are fairly quite soft.
Quite
so
indie.
I think it'd be quite interesting to see his
dynamic
outlook, I guess. Yeah. Him in there would be quite a good one. How many we got? 1, 2, 3.
You tell me.
7, 8. We've got 9 without Dave Grohl.
Without Dave Grohl.
With Dave Grohl.
That's 10.
We've got 10. Yeah.
See, the only other one I had written down was Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah. Just so we could find out who killed him.
Innit? Yeah. Was it your manager? And he could go home and you can fuck off again. That's all we need to do.
We can vote him out. But yeah, I was like, that'd be a good one, yeah. I was also thinking, I think it's just 'cause I'm going on a bit of a scar-y sort of vibe at the minute, but Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah.
The old boy from that, lead singer from that, I think that'd be quite a cool one to have in the mix of Paul Weller and...
If we've got our 10, and then like I'm a Celebrity, they always bring 2 in a week in, don't they? To mix it up.
Yeah.
So then we can have Jimi Hendrix and the guy from Dexys Midnight Runners. They can come in a week in and mix the house up a bit.
Yeah, can't try and like throw it out a little bit.
Yeah, do some challenges, some secret challenges and that.
Literally,
mate,
literally.
That's a fucking house. So why don't you read through them then? If we're doing 12 basically.
I'll tell you what. Hang on, I've just got to change the battery over in my camera. But I'll tell you what. Let's run a quick break because I need a piss as well.
Okay, all right then, mate.
Okay, so I'll change battery over and go for a piss. Happy day. So we are back post piss break lockdown session. Yeah, I think we've got quite a good little scratch record hotel.
Just reminds me of Hammer Hotel. Did you used to play that?
Yeah, of course I used to play Hammer Hotel.
Hammer Hotel was sick.
That was the one. It was like it felt like it was almost like Club Penguin, but for like teenagers.
Yeah, well, that's essentially what it was.
It was good. I enjoyed it. Definitely so much nonsense happened on that.
Oh, mate, it must have been bad. Yeah, but
in retrospect, all the people that we were talking to definitely weren't our age.
No, it's probably about 50-50.
Yeah, I bet it was 50-50. There or thereabouts.
Half and half 13-year-olds and half 40+.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
Swings.
Yeah, it happens.
Matured.
But yeah, I think we've got an original 10, and then we've got 2 members that are going to come and shake things up a week in.
Yes. So we have. Who was your extra one? Liam.
No, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimmy. Okay. Right, so
drum roll.
The original 10. Drum roll, please. That was probably awful.
Yeah, it's just rattling in people's ears. Sorry.
Right, so we have first into the house.
In the Big Brother house.
Watching from the Big Brother house, we have David Bowie.
That's mad.
We have Morrissey, John Lennon, Paul Weller, Suggs from Madness, for those that don't know. Alex Turner, Jules Holland, Pete Doherty, Prince, and Dave Grohl. And then the mix-ups that get jumped in, a bit like I'm a Celeb. We have the lead singer of Dexys Midnight Runners, which I feel really bad calling him that.
Yeah,
I
really should know
his really should know his name. Lead singer Kevin Rowland.
Bloody Kev. Right, big Kev comes in.
Not Dexy.
No.
Yeah, big Kev. So we have Kevin Rowland, Jimi Hendrix, and Liam Gallagher, who I've just written down because
you've added right, so we've got another one in now. you just change the rules, don't you, mate? You're getting an insight here. This is what happens.
This is how it works. My head just runs.
He just does what he wants.
I do what I want. I do what I want. Elliot Farah. He does what he wants. Yeah. I think.
I think that's a good fucking lineup. Not gonna lie, I'd watch it.
That's a brilliant lineup. I'd watch that. I think that'd be class.
Mate,
if only we could do it.
Yeah. I mean, we can't. Dead or Alive makes it very hard. I was going to say we will one day, but we can't.
No, could you? How fucking expensive this would all be as well.
Well, I was thinking about this because I was speaking to someone about it and about this YouTuber one they did, and I was like, imagine how sick it would be if they did it and it was actually like KSI, Logan Paul, Casey Neistat, David Dobrik, like, and got all them in a house, the biggest YouTubers. But then I was like, do you know how many millions it would cost literally just to pay the wages of those people for 3 weeks? Never mind where they're going to stay, all the production team, all the editing, everything. Like, it would cost so much money. And this would be the same. Imagine paying fucking all of those people to do it.
A fee, yeah.
Like, on TV, you'd never make it back. Like, I honestly don't. It doesn't matter how many people watch it, you're not going to make that back. But
it'd have to be pay-per-view every night.
Yeah, like £100.
It'd have to be pay-per-view. Yeah, it'd be like have to be pay-per-view because you'd be millions on each one. For sure. But it'd be crazy.
It would be fucking outrageous. Like, imagine.
It'd be a very good dream, like Big Brother sort of vibe. Big Brother in the house sort of thing. What challenges would you do with them?
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know. You just have to do like quizzes and shit. Like, it'd be so funny.
Oh, you'd have to do the standard like just like weird like that, something like the weird balloon popping ones they do
like
actually on the like pair them up.
That's what I'm imagining, and doing like finishing off people's tweets, and they're like, Alex Turner's a knobhead, and they just like people tweeting them, and they have to like unveil them. It'd be so funny.
Yeah, or like you could do like a no, good.
Cheers, Elliot. Yeah, great brainstorming session. We could do it. Nope, no, we can't.
Been a long week, all right?
Oh, come on. Yeah, no, but there's so much you could, like, you just have to get them interacting with each other. Like, you could do music challenges. You could literally split them into like 2 teams. They both have to make a song in 2 hours, and then like the public votes on which one's best. Something like that. Like, it would just be unreal.
Oh, that'd be good. Can you imagine the fucking clashes?
Can you imagine like Morrissey and fucking John Lennon arguing over who's on vocals and like what they're gonna do?
Or even like fucking
hell.
Dave Grohl trying to put down this like
yeah.
And like Prince is trying to sing some like really like
Jimi Hendrix is just doing guitar solos on the side, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on?
That'd be such a clash.
Mate, such a clash. Mad. But then like it would only take one thing to go, like if you paired them up right, it would be good. Like I do think if Morrissey and David Bowie worked together with John Lennon, like they could find a vibe that fit, and it would like me, that would be outrageous.
I think you really could. I think Paul Weller, Suggs, and Kevin from Dexys Midnight Runners,
they'd get
Kevin
on.
Rowland.
They'd get on.
That'd be a fucking tune.
Yeah.
Whatever came out of that would be a good song.
That would be a fucking.
That'd be class.
That'd be one you dance to. That would be.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one for weddings and like, you know, you could see your old man bopping around with like 2 bottles of Stella.
Come on.
But someone would have to play saxophone. There'd have to be some saxophone in there.
Yeah. I bet Kev's probably alright on a saxophone.
Yeah, potentially.
I bet he can.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
must have been around it.
Yeah, true.
But
yeah,
that was good. I enjoyed that. I think
I enjoyed that.
Mm.
Yeah, let us know who you'd add in if you could. If you could add in an extra little tipple, who would you put in?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. Good one for people to get in, even if you've just got one, or if you've got 10 you want to send us, I'd just send us them. I'd be intrigued to see if there's any we've missed, because there's so many people there when you say it, you think, yes, that would be fucking sick.
Yes, that would have been good. Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's definitely so many we could have chucked in.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many we could have chucked in. So, Joe, do you have a band for us?
Well, I have a band. Not yet, mate.
Yeah, what's your band name?
I'm lacking musical ability, but we'll get there.
And rhythmic skills.
Yeah. Basic rhythm is missing, so no. I do. I actually have two, there are two bands that we've probably mentioned before and have both, I think, been in the playlist, but we've never done a proper feature, and they've both released new singles recently. So they're sort of the same thing.
Okay, cool.
I'll do the first one. And my first one is a band called CIVIC GREEN, who are a South Yorkshire band. They do like melodic indie rock, and they've just released a new song called City Streets.
Nice.
But I put There Was Always a Light in the playlist. And then I've got another song called Sunlit Shore, which is a demo, which is the first song I heard of theirs. So they followed us like really early on when we started this. And I then because I always just check out people that follow us anyway. They only had that Sunlit Shore demo. And I literally went back and looked. I then DM'd them and was like, listen to it and it's fucking sick. Like, have you got anything else coming out and stuff? And they were really nice. They're really sound. But that for a demo is such a good song. Like, that's
Massive
a really good song. And it has I think it still has less than 1,000 streams.
Wow.
But then quite soon after they released There Was Always a Light, and that's had quite a lot of traction. That's got 6,000 now and is doing better.
Yeah.
And I've seen it go around Twitter loads, and that's a fucking brilliant song. And now they've released this even newer one. And it feels so much more polished compared to this original demo that I heard of them. And it's
their
proper,
first track.
Yeah, it's just really much more epic in scale. It's just much more a
epic gamer. Epic gamer moment.
It is. It's a much more. Yeah, you embarrass yourself. Polished,
a virgin.
Big tune rather than it just being a demo where you can tell it's a little bit they're banging it out and coming up with some ideas. This is studio radio wevy. Fuck.
Wow, Joe.
I don't even know what I was trying to say. Wevy? Ready. Studio ready song. Yeah, it has been a long week. And it's slightly more melodic, this one. That's a little bit slower. The other ones are a bit more have a little bit more of a rock element. This one's a little bit slower. But yeah, good lyrics, and it shows a great growth from that first demo that I heard. So yeah, I think I'm definitely putting it in the playlist. So if you want to hear it, it'll be in there.
Yeah, might have to play it on the old
on the old Indie Rocks. Indie Rocks.
Indie Rocks UK.
I was hoping you'd record your own one of them.
I actually have to.
Do you?
I actually have to this week.
Yes.
Yeah. They've asked for a 20 to 30 second
trailer
advert. Advert-y thing. So a bit when it's a Annie Max one where she's welcome
to the Scratch Record Radio.
That's a Scratch Record Radio.
You can't do your own echoes. Come on.
No, I'll edit that in, but I'm gonna just put the boxing announcer or the boxing announcer thing on audition.
That'd
where
be
you're
good.
you stick it in and it's
you ready?
Oh, ready.
That's sick. That'd be good. That's funny.
So I've got to do that, but yeah, I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But yeah,
that's funny.
maybe you'll hear that on there. I might put it into the old.
Oh, you're getting snobby now. I might have time to listen, put it in. I'm not sure. I'm a busy man. But...
We'll see. I'm a busy man. I have things to do.
What accent is that?
I'm a busy man. I have things to do. I'm a busy man.
Italian.
Mafia is actually what I was going for.
Like
I'm
New
a busy
York
man.
Mafia.
A busy man. I have things to do.
Stop.
Anyway, so I'm going to. Thank you. I'm going to go for my artist this week. My artist is someone I added to the playlist last week before. Baby Queen. Another Aussie. I like my Australian music at the minute. I'm a big fan. And she's just recently released her EP Medicine, which the track that's in the playlist, Buzzkill, is on. And the whole EP is brilliant. It's like a class alt pop style, brilliant vocals, and she released a vinyl and of it.
Really?
Yeah, and sent it about to a few people. So I saw it fluttering around social media, and it looked really cool. I think the artwork's brilliant. I think she like photographs very well in a lot of these album cover. Like they're very good, like realistic shots of her, and I think it's a really good, really well put together EP. And I just really have enjoyed her music recently. I think that Buzzkill track is a tune that I really, really like that song. I think it brings a nice mix of alt pop, but also having an edgier, much edgier vibe.
It's got a heavier tone in it at points.
It really has, and her voice is really good. And then she has moments in it where she talks, where it's like talking over it. Yeah, which also it's almost that contrast is very sick. Yeah. But yeah, that's my artist, Baby Queen, and in the playlist is Buzzkill, which are that EP, Medicine EP, brilliant.
Beautiful.
Very good. Very good.
Cool.
Single release?
Yeah.
Or was that...
This is one by the Shed Project, who we've mentioned.
We have spoken about them.
I don't think we have. I mentioned them when I spoke about the DDEs because they recommended them. But I don't think I ever actually did a full feature on the Shed Project. And we definitely should, because not only are they really fucking good, but they've actually been massive supporters of us as well. Like,
huge.
They like all our tweets and like interact and share it, and like that for us it makes such a fucking massive difference for bands that like interact, and the ones like them and like that Nice Guy band do a lot, and City Lights do a lot, and bands that just reply to our tweets, or even if it is just a like it does just help.
They get involved.
It just makes our tweets appear on like their fans' feeds. And that makes a big difference to us. Like, I noticed literally if they like one of our tweets, we'll probably gain a follower from it. And that's like, it's pretty crazy. So big shout out to them because they are massive supporters, but they're also a really sick band. And I like the fact they're literally called the Shed Project because they started it in a shed in Bolton. And there was just 3 of them that just mixed some of their own tracks and were like playing about with it. And they've like grown from that to now being like a 5-piece rock and roll indie band.
Do they have a new release?
They do. Their new release is called Bedtime. And it's quite different. They've got like 4 or 5 other songs now, but this one's a little bit different. It sort of has a bit of a slower vibe. I think it reminds me, it's a bit like American folk rock. Like, it's quite Sweet Home Alabama almost in the way that it comes across.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Mate, I don't
really?
If you listen to it, you'll know what I mean. Like, it doesn't sound like that, but that's the song that popped into my head when I was listening to this. But it's sort of got a little bit of that vibe, but then it is still like indie rock. But it's like just a bit slower, like cool guitar riffs, and then just that style of singing almost over it. But it does just show a big other side to them, because as good as they are, a lot of their other songs are like proper indie rock tunes, and they're very, very good. Yeah. Like, that's what they've shown. And then this one came out and I was excited to listen to it. And then I heard it and I was like, yes, this is different. This shows like more of an emphasis on lyrics and vocals rather than like the guitar and drums that they have before. And it just shows a different side, and it is very different to anything else I've been listening to at the moment. So I've really enjoyed it. It's a sick release. So that's also going in the playlist, I think. So that'll be there. Cool. But yeah, great bunch of lads, and really, really good new release.
Sick. I've got a release that is mid-October.
Okay.
It's November, so a month ago. But it's a track that, to be fair, I still thought it was October. Lockdown feelings.
Yeah, no. It's still March, mate. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, in my head, midsummer. But so this is a band called Noisy, and they're very. The way that I can describe it is they're very Rat Boy-esque. So it's almost a bit old school Arctic Monkeys, old school Jamie T, but with much more going on in the background.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy it, and they've got a bit more of a almost a crossbreed of EDM into it.
I was going to say they've got like an electronic feel, haven't they?
Yeah, so I was listening to an interview with them, and they actually play all of the electronic stuff live as well, which is really sick, really interesting to hear that they actually do put it all live and put it all alongside it too. Instead of it being like a backing track, which a lot of EDM or electronic music seems to have instead. So yeah, their EP is called I Wish I Was a ...
Yeah, which I quite like.
Which is really cool, really cool. And the single I Wish I Was a, which is like the first single of the EP, which is in our playlist, is class. Class, unbelievable. It's got a Rat Boy feel to it over the verses, but then and also that how Rat Boy does the noisiness in his like almost like rappy lyrics, hip hoppy sort of vibe verses, but then has a lovely singing chorus.
Yeah.
And their chorus to this really reminds me of Laid Back by Rat Boy. That almost like has like a really slow vibe to it, but also can jump into that loud, punky-ish,
like chaotic verses, and then it's quite chilled.
Yeah. And it has that nice juxtaposition, which is sick.
Good word.
Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, me using big words. I think
you're ahead, mate.
No, I really enjoy them. So Noisy's EP of I Wish I Was a EP, really cool, and I love the cover.
Yeah, it's sick, that cover.
I don't know why. It feels so unique. I think it's
simple,
it's just
but it's just
them
dead
looking
smart,
over a character. So simple but effective. Yeah,
I like it.
I think that's it. But yeah, that is
Beautiful.
my release and artist. Though.
There's episode 24.
Enjoyed that.
Mental.
It is. I hope you've all enjoyed. It's been, I like that topic. I think that's good fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, get involved, and I hope this one came across all right. Another lockdown session. I think it felt pretty all right. So hopefully in the edit it'll be fine. A little bit less technical difficulties. So yeah, we've done all right. And get involved on the socials. That's the main thing at the SR podcast, and get involved on Indie Rocks Radio 8 till 9 on a Friday night.
Absolutely. Come hear my beautiful voice for another hour of your life every week.
Yeah, you can listen to him talk and probably reply to my tweets. So you can have the best of both worlds on a Friday night now. So, yeah.
Literally. Best of both worlds. So you get Joe on social media and me on
Indie Rocks Radio.
Indie Rocks Radio on the Scratch Record Radio. 8 till 9 Friday nights. I don't know why I have to put an American twang on.
Yeah, you have to. It's just how it works.
8 till 9 Friday nights.
You should just do loads of different accents.
8 till 9 Friday nights.
Well, I got a new show.
Well, we got a new show. It's 8 till 9 Indie Rocks Manchester. Yeah, 8 till 9 Friday nights. Hope you enjoy.
We've lost everyone.
Yeah, on that note, goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
My lover.
Yeah,
goodbye, my friends.
Take it.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye. Peace.